You know that incredibly awkward moment in a group conversation where a well-meaning comment just completely lands flat?
Yeah.
We've all been there. Welcome to today's Explainer, where we're diving into a dynamic that pops up in almost every single community, yet it's so often misunderstood or mishandled. We're going to unpack some actionable, biblically based principles on how to truly support and uplift single Christians. Look, whether you're single yourself, married, or somewhere in between, the words we use and the assumptions we make, they carry a massive amount of weight. So this explainer is designed to help us navigate these interactions with real empathy, clarity, and deep respect for our peers. All right, let's dive right in.
So everything we're looking at today anchors right back to one single foundational goal. 1 Thessalonians 5:11 tells us simply to keep building one another up. Honestly, that's the primary responsibility of our community. Before we say a word, before we crack a joke or step in to try and help, we really need to run our intentions through this exact filter. Ask yourself, is what I'm about to do actually building this person up, or is it kind of subtly tearing them down? When we view our interactions through this lens, it completely shifts how we approach the single Christians in our lives who might want to get married.
Which brings us to our first major roadblock. Section 1. The danger of assumptions. We really have to be careful about what we say. This right here is where so many incredibly well-meaning people just completely miss the mark. Ephesians 4:29 warns us to be super careful with our words. So, I'm going to throw a self-reflective question right back at you. Do you tease those who want to get married? Just picture it. You're at a casual post-service coffee hour or grabbing dinner with the group. Someone drops a joke about a friend's dating life or the fact that they're still single. Laughter follows, right? But here's the thing. What feels like harmless, playful banter to the person talking can actually cause intense, totally unintentional emotional friction for the person receiving it. If someone genuinely desires marriage, turning that deeply personal hope into a punchline, that doesn't build them up. It trivializes their actual experience. If our real goal is support, we've absolutely got to cut this kind of teasing out of our vocabulary.
Okay, here's another super common pitfall that happens in everyday interactions. When a single brother and a single sister are just standing there having a conversation, do you immediately assume there's a romantic interest? 1 Timothy 5:13 actually warns us against harmful habits like gossiping and inserting ourselves into matters that just aren't our business. Jumping to romantic conclusions every single time two single people talk to each other is incredibly damaging. It makes single Christians feel like they are constantly under a microscope, which is super alienating. And honestly, it kind of destroys the healthy, natural social fabric of a community because it turns simple platonic fellowship into an absolute minefield. If we assume romance every time two people say hello, we're literally putting up walls that shouldn't be there.
Moving on to Section 2, Affirming Completeness. This is all about looking for chances to commend single Christians. This brings us to a really profound crossroads in how we communicate. And it hits on probably the deepest psychological point in our source material today, how we fundamentally view a single person's current season of life. Far too often, our language unintentionally makes single Christians feel incomplete simply because they aren't married. It's like we treat marriage as the ultimate finish line of a whole life. We literally must never do this. A person's marital status does not dictate their wholeness, and it definitely doesn't dictate their value. So how do we shift this narrative? We have to actively, enthusiastically pivot. We need to look for opportunities to commend them, praise their faithful work, their solid character, the contributions they make to the community, and their unique strengths. Commendation is the absolute best tool for building someone up. It affirms their current identity and it completely validates their worth right here, right now.
That sets us up perfectly for Section 3, Respecting Matchmaking Boundaries. And the core rule here? Respect their wishes.
Let's break down the practical rules of engagement for a really specific scenario. That very common, yet often highly problematic, urge to play matchmaker. If you happen to think a certain brother and sister would make a great couple, there is a strict framework you need to follow. Step 1, consider their feelings. Romans 15:2 tells us explicitly that we need to consider the feelings of others above our own impulses. Look, just because you think it's a great idea doesn't mean they will. Step 2, respect their wishes. 2 Thessalonians 3:11 urges us to avoid meddling. You know, a lot of single individuals absolutely do not want others introducing them to potential mates. If they've made that clear, or honestly, even if you just don't know, you have to respect their privacy and autonomy. And finally, step 3, wait to be asked for help. Sure, some people might actually appreciate a thoughtful introduction, but the golden rule here is that we should never intervene without being explicitly asked. Waiting for that permission preserves their dignity and it maintains trust.
So as we wrap up this explainer, I really want to leave you with a final provocative thought. How will you change your words today to ensure every single Christian in your life feels complete and commended? Because let's be real, knowledge is only powerful if we actually apply it. We've seen that by just using careful speech, ditching those wild assumptions, and respecting some firm matchmaking boundaries, we can completely transform our communities into places of genuine, incredible encouragement. So the next time you see a single friend, just pause, check your assumptions at the door, and go find a reason to commend them. Thanks so much for hanging out with me for this explainer, and I really hope this helps you build up the people around you, starting right now.